Hello everybody, it's me, Lindsay Star, and I want to address something that I want to talk to you guys about, and it's from Phil DeFranco. I know a lot of you people are going to say, well, Lindsay, what about that BetterHelp scam? Please, do not go there. I mean, I will make, if you guys want me to make a video, help me reach 1,000 subscribers and get me 20 likes or more, I'll do it. But anyway, I want to address something that I just watched from today's Phil DeFranco show. And I want to say that it was Phil's last story about Phil's last story about this whole entire situation. I think it was his last story. It was about the situation with how do I put this right? I'm trying to think how to say this. Phil wanted to talk about was this whole entire situation going on in Europe, and somehow is triggering here in the United States. That is about the fearing of vaccination leads to autism. And to be honest with you, this just reminds me of a story that I nearly almost questioned myself as being a YouTuber and a pro wrestling fan, and how I would explain this. So, if you guys didn't know, in the video that Phil said that there was the point that the people were spreading these anti-vaccination fallacies, of saying that the anti-vaccination, you vaccinate your children, they'll get autism. But here's the situation that I can understand how this can be. Autism has to deal within the mind, if I'm not mistaken. Sorry, I'm trying to think the words I'm saying. But vaccination has to deal with the body, mostly the illness that could affect us from our stomachs and our throats, our chests. Doesn't have to deal with the brain, right? Which makes me knows that I understood that. And the reason why I'm explaining this, because this is where I get a little crazy. And I know you guys are saying, but Lindsay, what does pro wrestling have to deal with this anti-vaccination bullcrap? Well, it's because it has to deal with a pro wrestler. Or I should say, retired pro wrestler. Because after last year, what was it? Was it last year? I think she retired from wrestling at Tommy Dreamer's House of Hardcore. It was streamed on Twitch. About that, what happened was, about the person I'm talking about is, because it's the why I stemmed to this and of this is the wrestler I'm talking about is, or say retired wrestler that I'm talking about is none other than Candice Michelle. And what happened that makes me do not like her anymore? It's nothing about her wrestling skills. Even though she was definitely injured prone, but this is not what made me not like her anymore. So, I have to draw back to, I think it was about 6 years ago. Yeah, because I was already developing a friendship with Valentina, and I had just created my Facebook page to communicate to those who are on Twitter. Anyway, I was just making, and I was also trying to make videos on YouTube, and what happened was I was on Twitter, and it was my 3rd year doing Twitter. I've been doing this for now almost 10 years, you can say. So about 10 years, almost. Yes. When I turned, I think when I turned 34. Yeah. That's how long I've been using Twitter for. Anyway, so what happened was I get on Twitter. I see Candace Michelle tweeting, and it was against somebody, and I want to know what's going on. I was like, are we starting to disrespect pro wrestlers? And that was not what it was. Despite there were fans went crazy at wrestlers. Now, I think, because I'm saying this because I'm trying to remember this, because I was like in Chris Hero at that time. But I did not fully commit it until like November. But anyway, 2012 to be exact, I think. So anyway, I get onto Twitter and I see Candace Michelle tweeted, and she says stuff, and I'm like trying to understand. And it turns out she was in an argument, and it was about what she said on Twitter. And she said that she would not vaccinate her daughters. Now understand, and Candace Michelle was living in California. I don't know if she still lives in California, but she was at the time of remembering this. And she had, of course, understand her husband I'm not sure, still was a chiropractor. And the reason why I'm saying this, because I don't know about her anymore, because ever since this situation happened. So what happened was, I get onto Twitter. She tweeted out saying she refuses to get her children, her 3 daughters that she had, vaccinated. And I was wondering, why wouldn't she? Well, actually, it was not 3 at that time. It was more like 2, I think. No, I think it was 3. I'm not sure. Anyway, it turns out that I was wondering, why wouldn't she? Okay, another thing then, and she was living in California. And California, as I heard through the news, had a situation of an epidemic about parents not vaccinating their children, and because of this anti-vaccination crap going on, and schools in California decided to lay down the law saying that if your child cannot come to school if they're not vaccinated. So I find out, why would she say that? And it turns out she pulled this crap out that not only she was talking about, but her husband was. And I'm like, what on earth? What's going on? And all of a sudden, I just saw the evidence right in front of me. When a person asking a Twitter user, I think she was, I think it was a he. I guess it was a fan, but I'm not sure. But what happened was, they asked her a question, and she said she's refusing to because it turns out she was an anti-vaccinator. And I'm like, what? It's not just her, but her husband as well. And I'm thinking, why on earth would he think that? And they were citing some very, very quacky stuff. I was like, you're citing from somebody else in another country, which, by the way, it was Australia, who is considered to be in the practice of a chiropractor, and they're talking about this anti-vaccination. In which I ended up searching, and despite what I could get in all information, I found out that this guy that she was talking about was nothing more than a quack. And I'm like, OMG. And I was like, why on earth would she do that? And I'm just thinking in my head, I mean, when I was growing up, I had to get vaccinated. I mean, as a child and as a teenager. I mean, seriously. And nothing came wrong with me. Seriously. But when it came to her saying this kind of stuff, I was like, yo, that's it. I'm disturbed. So what happened was I ended up unfollowing her and I ended up blocking her because I was very angry, and made me realize. And I think it was around that time, also because I guess I knew about. I guess maybe I'm not sure if it was around that time or. I think by the time Chris got released, that made me appreciate there was one other Candace I appreciated, and that was Johnny Gargano's wife, Candace LeRae. So what happened was I felt so angry, and I told my friend Valentina, said, you better not follow her. You need to just unfollow her and block her because she was talking about this anti-vaccination and this crap because both her and her husband, and who's a chiropractor, talked about this anti-vaccination stuff because they got the information from some quack in Australia who probably doesn't know what he's talking about either. So she understood that, and ever since then, I never much talked about it. I mean, I ended up watching the news, and they said, and since then, they said that it's nothing, people should not be fearing about because this was a bunch of anti-vaccination mumble-jumble stuff. So because of that I was really angry and upset about somebody who I used to like watching Monday Night Raw before she left to have girls, and finding out that she was promoting anti-vaccination, her and her husband, which just made me want to question why didn't people that time in these health organizations, why didn't they started to blacklist people who are in the medical field, or even those who are involved with chiropractors? Why didn't they start blacklisting them? Or something like that. And it made me felt so horrible that to a woman that I looked up to. So and that's what happened. And of course, until like last year when I found out Tommy Dreamer that Candice Michelle was having her final wrestling match against Lisa Marie Varon, the former Victoria / Tara. And it's just nearly made me ticked off. And listen, I'm not gonna be crucifying Tommy Dreamer or Lisa Marie Varon because this is not their fault. That I got mad. And I don't think nobody should go after them. But what I was just saying is how I got very upset. And I'm not mad at Tommy Dreamer anymore, but when I heard about that, I was kind of shocked. And thankfully, I guess I didn't catch that because there was something going on around that time. But what I just want to say is, yes, about this whole entire situation, what Phil said, yes, it's true about this whole entire anti-vaccination. It's not just happening in Europe or any other countries. It's also happening here in the United States. And because of this, I was really angry. And as being a pro wrestling fan, and to look at somebody like Candice Michelle doing that, makes me want to question, why would somebody do that? And I was just upset and devastated. And to the person who questioned her, thank you for letting me know to proving how much she was crazy at that time. And I was glad that I kept my distance, and not by unfollowing her and blocking her, because for anybody who had that kind of stigma, nearly makes me want to just go after them and scream at them like I'm like a SJW. But this was a person that I looked to. I know a lot of you guys are thinking, well, Lindsay, I'm feeling sorry that you have to go through that stuff. And I do. It's just that somebody like her, using Twitter as the platform to vote this anti-vaccination, nearly makes me want to go crazy. Yeah, let alone what Tommy Dreamer did. And even though I'm not mad at him anymore, because I have a lot of respect for him as a legend of pro wrestling, and considered to be one of the ECW guys, the original ones. Anyway, so push comes to shove. I hope you guys understand how upset and angry I was. And I want to say thank you to Phil DeFranco for let me hear about this because of thinking about this whole entire anti-vaccination stuff that Phil had to address, that I need to say about this. And I just don't want to type it out on the comments. I really want to make a conversation. And if you guys know anybody who did that kind of stuff, talking about anti-vaccinations, please let me know down in the comments. I will gladly respond and let you guys know. So, I mean, I was very upset when this happened to Candice Michelle. That she is an anti-vaccinator. And I don't know how she is today. I mean, if she is still have that mindset, then there is something wrong with her. I mean, and I mean this. I mean, despite I know she was the best, not really much the best women's champion. Don't get me started of who is this, but she was one of my favorites. And it nearly broke me when finding out she had that kind of stigma of this anti-vaccination going on her head. And it nearly hurt me. So, anyway, guys, thank you for watching this story, kind of. If you guys can, please hit that like button down below. If you're all new to my channel, please hit that subscribe button. Make sure notifications are definitely turned on. And also, please leave a comment and share. And I will get back to you guys if you do leave comments. I will try my best to respond to you guys. So, yeah. So anyway, thank you for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. Till then, bye. Want to see more of my videos? Make sure to subscribe here. And also, check out my last video or whatever I put it down to let YouTube see and give you the recommendations. So, yeah, thanks for watching. Okay? Bye for now.